All right, so, hey everyone. You ever get that feeling like math is this, I don't know, giant mystery? Like a puzzle with half the pieces missing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people feel that way, especially when they're just starting out.
Right. But what if I told you that we could make math a little less mysterious, a little more, I don't know, fun even?
Oh, totally. Math can be a blast once you get the hang of it.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we're doing today, diving deep into some basic math concepts. And get this, we're using a real math assignment from a French middle school.
From France.
Yeah, from France.
Oh, wow.
Now, I know you're thinking, French. I don't speak French. But don't worry, math is like this universal language, you
Yeah,
know? A plus sign means the same thing whether you're in Paris, Texas, or Paris, France.
it's true. Numbers and numbers no matter where you go.
So our mission today is to show you that math can actually be pretty cool, even if you're just starting out.
Absolutely. And the best part, we're going to break it down step by step so you can follow along, even if you're a total beginner.
All right, so let's jump right in. We've got this exercise one, all about calculations. You know, multiplying, dividing, fractions, all that good stuff. Remember
Oh,
those?
yeah, the building blocks of math.
Exactly. Let's take a look at problem A. It says 58 multiplied by 23.
Okay, fractions. I remember those.
Yeah, so, I mean, this might look a little scary at first, right? But I promise it's not so bad once you break it down.
Fractions can be a little intimidating, but they're really just a way of representing parts of a whole.
Right. And think about it this way, like baking a cake. Say you need 58 of a cup of flour, but you're only making, I don't know, 23 of the recipe.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. You need to figure out how much flour you actually need for the smaller batch.
Exactly. So how do we tackle this? How do we multiply fractions?
Well, the rule is pretty straightforward. When you multiply fractions, you multiply the top numbers, those are called the numerators, and then you multiply the bottom numbers, the denominator.
So in this case, it would be 5 times 2, which is 10, and then 8 times 3, which is 24. So that gives us 224.
You got it.
Awesome. But can we simplify that fraction? You know, make it look a little neater.
Absolutely. Both 10 and 24 can be divided by 2. So we divide the top and bottom by 2, and we get
5, 1, 12.
exactly. See? Not so bad.
It's like reducing a picture on your phone. You know,
Yeah.
it's still the same picture, just a little smaller, a little easier to manage.
Perfect analogy. And all this multiplying and simplifying, it follows a specific order. Remember PEMDAS or BODMAS?
Oh, yeah, the order of operations.
Exactly. It's like the traffic rules of math problems,
Yes.
right? Make sure everything happens in the right order so you get the right answer.
Love that. Rules of the road for math problems.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to exercise 2, where we encounter something called exponents.
Exponents. Now we're talking.
Have you ever seen those tiny little numbers hanging out above normal-sized numbers?
Oh, yeah. They're like the little powerhouses of math. Small but mighty.
Right. So what are they all about?
Well, imagine you're playing a video game, right? You get 2 points for each level you complete.
Okay, I like video games.
So let's say you finish 4 levels. To figure out your total score, you have to do 2 points times 2 points times 2 points times 2 points.
Yeah, that's a lot of twos.
Right. That's where exponents come in to save the day. They let us write that repeated multiplication in a much shorter, snappier way.
It's like a math shortcut.
Exactly. In this case, it would be a 2 to the power of 4, written as 2 with a tiny little 4 above it. That little 4 tells us how many times to multiply the 2 by itself.
Oh, I see. So instead of writing out 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, we can just write 2 to the 4th power.
You got it. Much more efficient, right?
It's like using emojis instead of typing out a whole sentence.
Huh. Perfect analogy. And exponents aren't just for video games, they're everywhere. Think about bacteria, for example. One bacterium can divide into 2, then those 2 divide into 4, then 8, and so on. That's exponential growth.
Whoa. That's why washing our hands is so important, right?
Ah.
Stops those little bacteria from multiplying like crazy.
They got it.
Okay, so we've tackled fractions, we've explored exponents. What's next on our math adventure?
Well, exercise 3 takes us into the world of shapes.
Shapes. You mean like geometry?
Exactly. This exercise asks us to imagine a triangle. Not just any triangle, but a right-angled triangle. The French call it rectangle ondé, which essentially means a triangle with one right angle, like the corner of a book, a perfect 90-degree angle.
Okay, I'm picturing it. What do we do with this triangle?
So they give us the lengths of 2 sides of the triangle, 3 centimeters and 4 centimeters, and then they ask us to draw its symmetrical counterpart.
Symmetrical counterpart. What's that?
Imagine you fold a piece of paper with the triangle on it, right down the middle. The shape you see on the other side of the fold, that's its mirror image. That's the symmetrical counterpart.
Ooh, like a butterfly's wings. Or those
Yeah.
perfectly matched patterns you see in ancient temples.
Exactly. Symmetry is all around us, and it plays a big role in art, design, and even architecture.
That's pretty cool.
So then this exercise throws in some questions about lines and angles within this triangle. We have to use what we know about right triangles and symmetry to figure them out.
So it's like a little geometry puzzle.
You could say that. And the cool thing is, once you start understanding these basic shapes and their properties, you can use that knowledge to tackle more complex problems. It's all connected.
It's like leveling up your math skills.
Exactly.
So we've gone from fractions that help us bake the perfect cake to exponents that explain how things grow super fast. We even dipped our toes into the world of geometry.
And we just scratched the surface. Math is a vast and fascinating world with endless possibilities.
It's true. Now, I know math might seem a little intimidating at first, but remember, it's all about building blocks. You start with the basics, you practice a little each day, and before you know it, you're solving problems you never thought you could.
Absolutely. It just takes a little patience and a willingness to learn. And remember, math is everywhere.
Exactly. Next time you see a pattern in nature or try to figure out how much pizza everyone gets at a party, remember, you're using math. Keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive.
See you then.